everybody's talking about it, right? Advanced persistent threats, 5th gen warfare. So there is a plan for 1 year, even more, again to destroy a target or to cripple a target. Intelligence gathering, going hacking their servers, putting a malware that's not transmitting anything, just listening, and nobody would know what's going on. So public perception is the main thing that everybody looks at, right? Nowadays, it's very easy to sway public opinion. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the guy with the gray hat. Today we're going to talk about 5th gen warfare. This is also referred to as cyber warfare, but cyber has certain aspects that are that make it limited. So 5th gen warfare is the normal term that is being used everywhere, right? So in this video, I'm going to briefly explain what that is, the background, and should we be afraid of it, right? So let's start with the background. 5th generation warfare wasn't there like 15-20 years ago. There were talks about it, of course. Things were happening, wheels were in motion, but nobody was actively doing anything. So if you talked about it online on Twitter at the time, it was a hush-hush thing. So if you would say cyber warfare is upon us, so on Twitter I just mentioned something like, oh yeah, cyber warfare is upon us, just a clickbait or a attention grabber, right? And a lot of people started following me. Of course, at the time there weren't that many cybersecurity people or people talking about cyber warfare, but still it was like I was amazed by that. But now everybody's talking about it, right? Advanced persistent threats, 5th gen warfare, what is that? So I'll start with advanced persistent threat. Advanced persistent threat is any kind of threat that is against a country, organization, or anyone, which is long term. So there is a plan for 1 year, even more, to cripple a target. That's the right word. So in that you can use people, you can use any resources you want, right? Intelligence gathering, hacking their servers, putting a malware that's not transmitting anything, just listening, and nobody would know what's going on for a very long time. And then when the extraction comes and exfiltration comes, they will exfiltrate all the data and everything that they need against, and then use it against the target. So that's APT in a nutshell, right? Secondly, 5th gen warfare. What is 5th gen warfare? Okay, you need to understand that in proper democracies, people have the power, right? So any person who's actually in office or in power in a democracy, in a proper democracy, would fear that. So public perception is the main thing that everybody looks at, right? Nowadays, it's very easy to sway public opinion. Initially, like 20 years back, there was just state media, right? You watched TV, whatever propaganda a country would actually want to throw, they would use their television to do that, right? And then people who were watching those television, because there wasn't any outlet, there was no internet, there was nothing, internet was in its infancy. So everybody who wasn't tech savvy or wasn't going on IRC channels, underground channels, talking about those things, wouldn't know about it, right? So they would just watch TV. If they say, yeah, this guy's bad, yeah, everybody would say this guy's bad, right? Now the problem is that anybody who has power, who has money, can buy a lot of bots and then use them to sway anything. News. You have proper news, cells which spread propaganda, in favor of some political party, right? And in order for them to do that, they can have a big team or they can buy bots, right? Before that wasn't, you had to have an FTE, one person to actually do that. So you don't, a company doesn't have that many people, like 1 million people, right? So now having bots is very easy. So a person has a lot of money, wants to sway public opinion, is lobbying for a political party. So what he does is uses bots to sway public opinion in the sense of fake news, rigging of polls, online polls, like on Twitter and all that stuff, and also spreading a lot of other lies that they can spread against their other political parties, right? So it's easy. The downside is that now public is quite aware. So anybody or in fact everybody has access to internet. In my country, there has been a problem. So there has been or attempts to sway public opinion through state media, right? But what people are now doing is not trusting the state media, rather than they're trusting the social media like YouTube, right? So following people on YouTube, and then what a country can do is to sort of block those websites, right? Or block the internet or do something like that. But that's wrong. In real democracies, that never happens and that cannot happen. So if something like this happens, suddenly the person in charge resigns, right? Because he's out of power, nobody wants him, and there's a scandal and he's gone. That's all 5th gen warfare. And now it's very easy. Secondly, all of these countries like US, China, Iran, many other countries, they have their own cyber armies, right? Cyber army is a proper branch of the military. It's not such a cool thing which was in the 90s that, oh yeah, I'm part of cyber army, yeah? But no, it's an official branch of the military, so you have to go through all the hoops as a soldier would, and then go towards the tech side, right? Cybersecurity side. So they have their own. So if you attack a country online, they can attack you physically. So as I mentioned, a lot of people have a lot of money, right? Criminal organizations, organized crime, all those people. So they can hire people to create malware, to create ransomwares, to cripple an organization, to cripple a country, right? So cyber warfare has been going on for a while now, and now it's very open, and the tools used by different military branches of different countries, cyber armies, are now the same tools, kind of the same tools are being used by normal people. Like for example, in a real army, right, you have guns. So you have SMGs, ARs, etc., etc. I know all that because of Call of Duty. But you have all those things. A normal person like me, I'm not in the military, I can't use them, right? I don't even have a pistol. I don't have an air gun, right? But when it comes to cyber, a normal person, if he has brains, right, if he knows coding, he can actually devise a super cool malware that wouldn't be detectable by anyone, right? Or he can buy it from an underground market, right, or somewhere. So the point is that all the cyber weapons can now be a part of anybody's arsenal, cyber arsenal, right? I'll give you a very good example. So there was a tool that we used when I was doing pen testing and red teaming especially. It was called Empire PowerShell tool, right? It was a PowerShell based tool that we used to use after once we exploited or we got into servers, we got post exploitation, all the things that we had to do, we could do it on Empire. It's still on GitHub, but what happened was that it was free, right? We were using it. Maybe some police or any other agency might be using it as well, right? But as it was free, so the criminals were using it as well. So anything, any capability that we had, the criminals had it as well, right? So because of that, if you go to their GitHub, you're going to actually see that they wrote something in those lines. They said that cyber criminals were also using it, so they stopped working on it. So it's still a very workable, you can say, framework, but there's no active development happening there. So in a cyber world, this is a problem. So now people or generation that is like my father's generation and older generations, they at the time only thought that cyber is, or internet is, far off. It has no connection to the physical world. But no, now everything is online. Your bank account, your social security number, everything. And it's just numbers. Anybody hacks into your bank account, you're a goner. Anybody steals your identity, you're a goner, right? So you need to be afraid. But still, there is hope, because cybersecurity personnel, a lot of people are working towards protection against those kinds of elements. So for a normal person, you don't have to worry about cyber warfare because it's between countries and armies and all that, right? You need to be afraid of people or scammers or organized crime, which the good news is that you can protect yourself from, right? And that's the main key part of it. So don't be scared of cyber warfare. You just have to know what that is. 5th gen warfare, you just need to know what that is. If you see a lot of fake news, you need to verify that news always, right? Do your own homework, right? So if you see something online, just don't believe it on face value. That's the message of this video. Take care, have a good day, peace.